While Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine Zaluzhny warns of a possible prolongation of the war in Ukraine for many years, Hezbollah announces its entry into war with Israel if it does not stop military operations in the Gaza Strip by November 3. The Middle Eastern cauldron is heating up, and if it explodes, the fragments will scatter throughout the world. Israel says if it is attacked by Hezbollah, it will attack Iran. At the same time, the United States will most likely be drawn into the war, and this is already a clear sign of the global mess that the Kremlin devils have been dreaming about for so long. The DPRK is already participating indirectly in the war with Ukraine through the supply of its weapons, although Pyongyang denies these supplies, which, most likely, were carried out not out of friendship, but for $3 billion. A meeting between Joe Biden and Xi Jinping in San Francisco has been announced for mid-November, and it could become a turning point in terms of reconsidering relations between the United States and China. Beijing needs an economic boost, and Washington can help. So a change in Beijing's rhetoric regarding Russia's war against Ukraine is possible. Judging by the latest actions of the Lubyanka agents, things are not going well for the second wing of the system, yearning for a reboot. The FSB shook Dagestan by holding an event at the airport code-named Pacers. The goal is to generate rumors about the instability of the region and expose anti-Semitic sentiments by smearing the head of the region, Melikov, with rotten meat. At the same time, rumors about the death of the leader were dispersed from every iron. In this case, in addition to the anonymous general of the SVR and the odious Nightingale, a longtime FSB agent, Sergei Zhirnov, sitting in France, distinguished himself. In response, a group of Solovyov's sectarians buried Solovyov, declaring that his double was broadcasting, and the professor himself was killed by cancer. The agents of the good Russians were despondent. The food-loving Volkov went on a fast on October 31 as a sign of solidarity with political prisoners, which caused a lot of ridicule in his address. Gudkov Sr. was waiting for the approval of his case on political asylum in France. Why Lubyanka would reveal the curator who saved Feigen but did not save Osechkin is not clear. It is useless to sell it to the French secret services like a dummy. They have not eaten Lubyanka rotten meat for a long time. Even Arestovich came out, having babbled so much Russophile stuff that he urgently fled Ukraine and declared himself a politician in exile. The Lubyanka narratives in the information war are clearly depicted by Medvedchukov's Channel 24 and the channels attached to it, jumping around YouTube like fleas on a clockard sweater. But every day it works worse and worse. Putin's wing, on the contrary, is becoming heavier and refocusing Russians' attention on the Middle East war, taking attention away from the Ukrainian direction. In this regard, an increase in anxiety by as much as 2 points is recorded. Moreover, the events in Makhachkala were not included in the Magnetic Questionnaire, which confirms the guess that the second wing of the system is shaking the situation. Peskov, commenting on Zaluzhny's interview, mutters that the special operation is continuing and all its goals will be achieved. Shoigu raves about downed planes and destroyed ATACMS missiles. Nebenzia is habitually rude to the states and Israel at the UN. The European Union is preparing the 12th package of sanctions against Russia, and the United States is expanding the sanctioned list of banks and imposing sanctions on MSTU. Bauman, where either Martyr Machine or a Shaitan Arbor was developed on Kadyrov's order. The U.S. House of Representatives has approved a $14.30 billion aid bill for Israel, but Biden is going to veto the bill because he believes it would be right to send aid directly to Israel and Ukraine rather than splitting it. Putin signed a decree lifting the moratorium on nuclear testing, raising the stakes again. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken described this move as a step in the wrong direction. But the devils continue to make faces, shaking their nuclear scrotum to the song, "A great nuclear power cannot lose." What if it's not great, but simply a fascist gas station in a prison zone populated by gangsters? The United States, Britain and France warned that if nuclear weapons were used in Ukraine, the Russian Federation would receive a retaliatory strike with conventional weapons. but such force that there is simply nothing left of the cave. The boys don't believe it. They are willing to take risks. They will re-establish their bald leader and begin to shake the universe with renewed vigor. Pope Francis woke up and declared that the world was at war. Politicians shrugged their shoulders. Once every 100 years, humanity always shakes off the tension through war. So it's time for the West to unsheath its weapons, which are destined to have their last weighty word.